as far as we know, you used to be a buyer for Walmart.
I was. Yeah.
But how old were you when you started that position?
I'm going to date myself. I was 28.
You were 28?
28.
All right. All right. So this is what leads me into this.
Yeah.
28-year-old guy suddenly becomes a buyer for the sports nutrition section at Walmart. How did you get there?
Oh, gosh. Funny stories. So how much time do you have? All night?
We got about 2 hours, but
2 hours.
You got about 10 minutes on this question.
So, oh, gosh. From a Walmart career, I went and started in stores like a lot of other people. And I worked in the garden center while I was going to school.
Garden center.
The garden center was awesome. You learn a lot of things. But Walmart was a ton different back then. So they had a lot more.
How old were you when you started there?
They got rid of the beta fish.
I was 19. They got rid of the fish. I mean, I used to take care of the fish.
Oh,
there was a
man.
guy that took care of the fish. He was one of my best friends at Walmart.
Damn.
Yeah.
My
guy.
wife the other day, she was like, "Hey, you know that Walmart got rid of the fish?"
I kind of got pissed off about that.
Well, that's a very random thing, like a thought to come into your head.
Yeah.
So 19 to 28 is a pretty good chunk of it being loyal
Pretty good chunk.
to Uncle Sammy.
Yeah, and it was in different capacities. So I started in stores, went to school, and then from school, I actually started in smaller supplement shops.
What were you studying in school?
Business management.
Business
So
management.
very basic. I actually went to school for physical therapy. And
But you still had your feet in supplements the whole time.
well, I was a high school kid that got bullied that wanted to get huge. Of course I did.
Okay. Fair enough.
Fair enough. And I cheered in college. So the whole fitness lifestyle was
That's a whole different.
It's a whole different podcast.
Element of athleticism right there.
Yeah.
yeah. So from there, I mean, outside of school, went to Complete Nutrition, which was pretty big back in, this would have been 2015.
Completes were a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had,
Did they get bought out? What happened to Complete Nutrition?
they just shut down or something.
Okay.
But I had a great manager there. He taught me, first job in really supplement sales, how to pitch to people, what their biggest claim to fame was a slimming pill, which is just like a CLA compound, right?
Yeah.
$60 CLA pill. Okay. That's, how do you sell that to somebody? Well, somebody that's got pockets full of money that wants to lose weight, right? So from there, went to a company called Your Total Fitness Shop.
Okay.
And they're pretty big in Arkansas, which is where I'm from. And
How many stores do they have?
5.
Impressive.
Yeah. So they do a decent amount of business. And I worked in the Rogers location, and then I went to Little Rock, which is Central Arkansas, and I managed their bigger location.
That's
Right?
a big
It was just
time right there.
big time. It was $1 million P&L. I thought I was king of the world, right? And the goal of that was to rekindle the business, kind of get customers involved from the area. We're kind of on the outskirts of Little Rock, and it worked. I was there for 3 months.
Only 3 months.
I was 3 months in Little Rock, turned the business around, and then I went back to Walmart in a different capacity,
okay.
working in, call it store planning or realty. So I went and built Walmarts.
Okay.
Went and built and remodeled Walmarts. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just crazy getting back to that.
How old were you when you got back in doing the retail planning?
21.
21.
Yeah.
Okay.
So really fast turnaround, corporate exposure, operations exposure, lots of customer interactions, dealing with problem customers. I mean, you shop at what? Walmart for toilet paper. If I move your toilet paper and you don't know where it goes, what do?
I freaked the fuck
Okay,
out.
that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
So we dealt with that.
Okay.
A lot of the time. And so that really helped shape my understanding of store operations, and then coming into project management roles, which is the next 2 steps, right? I went back to the home office, project management, dealing with store planning on the back end, went to a Sam's Club, and I put in meat slicers.
Okay.
And I put in the cleaning robots for Walmart, or for Sam's Club.
Sam's Club.
And did that for a capacity. And then my wife happened to get pregnant, and going back to Your Total Fitness Shop, I was like, I want an energy drink.
How old were you now? Going back?
2021. This would have been 2021, so pretty recent.
So you go back to Total Fitness Shop after you've been doing all this retail planning and merch stuff.
Yeah.
So let's look at this on a broad scale. Walmart,
Yep.
the completes and all that, and then go into the total, what was it called?
It was Your Total Fitness Shop.
Your Total Fitness.
YTFS.
Back to Walmart / Sam's, and then back to Your Total Fitness.
Well, that was just part of the story. So that I'm setting up the stage for how I got the job as a merchant.
Okay.
Okay. Wife is pregnant. Alani wasn't in Walmart yet. She wanted a cotton candy grape. Alani knew. right? So we were like, all right, we're going to go on the town. It was a Saturday. I'm going to stop in and get a drink. It was it was supposed to be a 10-minute interaction. And within that time, they came to me as we walked in and said, well, Walmart's trying to poach our manager because they wanted somebody who knew supplements to come be a merchant at Walmart. And call it divine appointment, whatever you will. Found the guy's name.
Oh, are they?
I was like, yeah, okay, well, I have a job. Every door is an open door until you close it. And emailed Matt at the time, was the merchant.
Okay.
And I said, hey, I've got all this Walmart experience, and I've got supplement experience, and I've got these huge, wild ideas.
And I want this fucking job.
And I want it.
Yeah.
So long story short, we had lunch a couple times, interviews and formalities, and I was gracious enough to be offered the job.
Nice.
So that's what led me there.
Yeah.
The experience probably helped, but being the guy who had been in both places, I mean, that's really what did it for you.
I think the biggest part for me was
Hearing that guy say, well, Walmart's trying to poach my manager.
yeah, huge opportunity, opportunist here. Total shot in the dark, right? I had to be in that situation at that point in time to hear that, to reach out. And I was, in my earlier youth, I wouldn't have dared to reach out to somebody and be like, hey, heard you have a job open. Let's talk,
Yeah.
Pretty bold. So
Sometimes a pregnancy is what it takes to motivate you.
yeah. Lesson learned.
It was a good move, though.
Yeah. Lesson learned. So I totally lost my train of thought.
Where are we in the
that.
timeline, though? So, okay.
Oh, gosh.
You're talking to Matt, and this is 2021?
2021.
This is in COVID. Well,
Tail
kinda at
end.
the
We
end.
were still all remote.
So, wait, were you working for the fitness store, or you working for Walmart at this time?
This is Sam's Club. So I was.
So you were at Sam's Club.
Correct.
You went to the store that you used to work at.
Energy drink.
Okay.
Yeah. So relationships, people I talked to, people I used to work with. And
You're
that's
like, I don't want to do this Sam's Club thing because I know I can make a big difference over here in sports nutrition. And
Yeah.
he's like, okay, 2021, you're in.
And I think that's part of why maybe I was attractive to that, is because it had been stale as you guys are in this business.
Yeah,
I mean,
it had been stale for a minute.
10 years, 15 years, I mean, everybody buying supplements had aged out and nobody was doing anything to make it current or bring it
hip
bring newness
for all the
hip.
kids.
Yeah. And Matt had done a good job. I mean, I think they had started penetrating with Optimum Nutrition, which obviously a huge conglomerate
Yeah.
of companies.
And a lot of people like that product.
Yep.
I think it really kind of shifted when they brought in like Cellucor and ProSups and
Yeah.
But they were also in the early days. But yeah, when ProSubs came in, like, and especially in the recent years with seeing Alani Nu get on the shelf, seeing Rise get on the shelf, like seeing all these other people that like, hey, we know those guys.
Yeah.
Getting into Walmart, it seems like suddenly the sports nutrition category there is becoming way more relevant and way more like up to the times, which is a very good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't want to toot my horn too much, but there was so much potential with leveraging social constructs, social media, social influencers and the brands, and like what we see with these labels. I mean, it used to be black and white, it used to be black and red, and that was all it was. Body Fortress orange, right? And so we had a job to like retrain the customer. Hey, you can buy these supplements at an everyday value, and you can find it at Walmart. You're shopping at Walmart. Why would we make you go do a second trip to buy something that you're already going to be purchasing?
Especially in the post-pandemic era, it's
Correct.
a prime time to capitalize on that because they're not going to stop shopping for toilet paper.
No. And you think everybody was like, okay, how do we get healthy coming out of the pandemic? How do we get active? Like, we've been locked up for 2 years. Give me something new.
well, up to that point, like most of the products that were in there just weren't that. I don't want to say bad. They're probably good for business, but like from like an efficacy level, weren't really.
They're on a different tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't meet the needs of the more educated consumer. And what you find like on TikTok and Instagram these days is the younger crowd is a little bit more educated when it comes to supplements. You have a lot more content out there where people are talking about them, like what's an efficacious dose of this ingredient, what's an efficacious dose of. And if you go to Walmart, back in the day, if you went and looked at that, they're all proprietary blends, and there's just nothing.
Caffeine.
Yeah, nothing to get excited about on like on that standpoint. Then there's the labeling standpoint where a lot of it's very kind of sterile branding where it looks safe, but supplements, especially sports nutrition in the younger crowd, they want something that has a little interest to it.
Yeah. They want to be able to relate to it.
They want to relate to the
Feel fun.
lifestyle of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether that's like something fun like Glaxon or Rise or something like that, or something hardcore looking like ProSups. or something super sporty like Cellucor. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Ghost is in there now, but like, they're very lifestyle, street culture
They're
kind
in
of thing.
Target.
They are, yeah.
They made a choice there.
Yeah.
So
There's probably conversation about that.
you get brought in.
Yep.
So Matt puts in the word for you, and like, do you get an email that you're hired? Do they bring you in for like a special meeting or something, or how does do you have to like go grovel at someone's feet in order to get the blessing to become the guy?
No, we had lunch to just talk about like, okay, what are my capabilities? Like you would do for a job shadow almost.
Sure.
And then there was 3 formal interviews, one with him, one with a panel team, and then me and the VP at the time. His name was Creighton Kuiper, super smart guy, very great. He had visionary, I guess is what you could call him. And so he had this idea very similar to mine about we want to bring this into the 21st century. Right.
So, all right, so you finally get the job and you report for work. What was your vision going into this? It's 2021. What were your goals and what did you kind of set out to do as part of this job to modernize your supplement section and bring it into the 21st century?
Oh, gosh.
I'm sure at the time you were chomping at the bit with
you
all
must
kinds
have been.
of ideas.
You're pretty young. You must
Yeah.
be pretty, wet behind the ears. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of responsibility to be in the position you're in. Talking, it's probably a lot different with other industries. I don't know, but I could imagine just starting to deal with supplement brands in general because I have to do it. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of vibrato and ego and machismo, and there's just a whole bunch of energy in fast pacedness of the supplement world that isn't super corporate. That's kind of, gunslinger,
I think part of it was gunslinger. Like I was ready to slash everything, right? Because my experience was with a very small P&L. And so I wasn't used to maybe the corporate, platform of what I needed to do to make my budget and hit my budget and all that stuff. So we started looking at like the low hanging fruit, right? The stuff that didn't sell, maybe the stale segments, stuff that the customers weren't purchasing or we didn't see on TikTok or Instagram or any of the social ads, right? And so that was where I wanted to go for first. Just get the low hanging fruit, the stuff that didn't perform, which providing a little context, when I came on the desk, it was very different than what we just saw in the store, right? Yeah. You had protein RTDs and you had protein RTEs, ready to eat. And then you had some powder and you had pre-workouts. Like that was it. Mm-hmm. And so your weight loss segment was historically like Atkins, energy shots, and hydroxycut. Like they had 16 feet of weight loss pills. I'm like, how do you differentiate that? Like it looked like a gas station. And one of our directors said that and it kind of resonated with us. Yeah. And so we wanted to simplify. Well, the next mod cycle that we dropped swapped the energy shots, so like 5-hour energy, the weight loss pills, brought it to my set, and then they got the performance bars, it was like your Quest bars, and then they got the ready-to-drink proteins as well. So it made really like a food aisle and then a supplement aisle, which is part of the direction we really wanted to facilitate.
So you get a whole lot more space that you now have to fill with more powders.
Correct. Or remove some from, because with the shift, like I think there was a growth in our P&L, like we had a different target to hit because of the way I guess maybe the products are weighted. Like we would have moved more or less than the bars, right? Mm-hmm. So
this is all data-driven analytics for the most
correct.
part.
Yeah, totally data-driven. Some of it was definitely feeling brain, right? You got thinking is just data, and then your feeling brain is gut check. Like okay. You've got all these weight loss SKUs that have been on shelf for 20 years and they're not doing, $500,000 in sales and they're in every store. Like some of those metrics don't make sense. So that's what we went after first. And then from there, try to, I guess, see what need states did we need in Walmart to have. So maybe we had protein powders, maybe we had, pre-workout, but we didn't have non-stim. We didn't have standalone carnitine, or we didn't have standalone creatine powder with multiple options or sizes. Like they're just little things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like an expansion, a linear expansion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in a way, you kind of have to look at your shelf space like prime real estate. Prime. If you have something that has been in there for 20 years, it's in every store and it's not moving. I mean, effectively, it's not paying its own rent.
It's
so
not.
To speak.
Yeah.
And you guys have like analytic metrics on like per square inch. Like
we actually looked at the inch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So weight loss historically would have been really easy to gain their space because they're small bottles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So again, 20 years on shelf, that's hyperbole, but it wasn't earning their space.
Right.
Yeah.